Period of Third Republic in 1981-1985. This one as the historical background. After 10 years of military rule and some change in the life of the Filipino which started under the new society, martial rule was the last lifted on January 2, 1981. To thus the government the lifting of military rule herald and changed to their perception and the Philippines became a new nation and this former President Marcos called the new Republic of the Philippines. The historian called this the Third Republic. The Philippines by claim was during the Philippines Republic Colonial Ginaldo, where when we first got our independence from Spaniard on June 12, 1898. The second was when the American granted us our independence on July 4, 1946. This was the period of January 2, 1981, was the Third Republic, when we were freed from military rule. During this period, this cannot be denied. The many people seated with rebellion and protest became the continuous oppression and suppression. This was further aggravated when former Senator Benigno Aquino Jr., the idol of Filipino masses, whom they hoped to be the best president, but he was brutally murdered on August 21, 1983. We can say the Philippine literature, despite the many restrictions, still surreptitiously retained its luster. This one is the example of the Palanca Award, the Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Award for Literature, which was launched in 1950. Chapter 7, Renaissance Period, continues its recognition as the best literary field: poetry, short story, essay, and the one of three act plays. This one example of Palanca Award. In 1983, the mode was restricted characteristic of time. The nation was angry after murder the position of Dr. Benigno Aquino, but awards ceremonies continues after delay. The winner were the first prize Alzheimer by Jose Guidalizay Jr., the second prize given by Jesus Ocros, third prize Perfect Sunday by Jose de Ayala. This one the example only. In 1984, the winner were the first prize the reprieve by Susan S. Lara. Second prize the Candringa Gumamela by Silvia Mendez Ventura. The third prize is co-winner The Letter War, Falmon Saira by Emmanuel Tevelas. Third prize Stranger in Asian City by Gregorio Brillantes. After this, in 1985, those were the first prize with The Hand of God by Conrado de Queiroz. First prize, Nobel Prize for George by Ali Ambarosa. No award for second prize only. Third prize, Mecca OS by Charles Laong. In 1984, the Palanca Award started choosing the best novel writer. The contest held every 3 years give the time of local writer to write a more beautiful and quality work. next contest on the best novel was held in 1987. La Tonida continues by its sponsor. The poetry the following were recipient, the first three winner at the Palang Memorial Award in 1981, 1985. This one is the poetry. Monologues or otherwise by Pablo Liwanag. Outsider and Other Poem by Cesar Felipe Bacanya Jr. This one is Masbati, Simon Domdom Jr. Taiwan Other Poem by Alfonso Yuson. Paxpanda Other Poem by Edgardo Maranan. Dolphin, Dinosaur, and Eagle by Augusta de Almeida. In 1982 and 1983, The Other Clearing by Hermano Abad. Ceres and Bugayr by Rowena Teovelas. The poem accompanied by Big and Small Event, Alfredo Navarro Salanga. The Chameleon, Cesare Sayerco. Axum, Simon Domdom Jr., The Time Factor, Alpia Di Malanta. And 1984, Configuring God and Other Poem. Bobage Poem, Reading the Lubregat. This one is also example. Next is the Filipino poetry. Poem during the period of Third Republic were romantic and revolutionary. Writer word openly their criticism against the government, the supplication, and people were coaches of fury, colorful, violent, profane, and insulting language. Next is the Filipino song. Many Filipino songs dealt with them that were really true or life, those grief, poverty, aspiration for freedom, for love of God and country, are the following. Many composers grieving by Ninoy Aquino Strategies assassination composed a song. Among them were Corita Eric and Freddie Aguilar. Corita and Eric composed by song titled by Laban ng Bayan Ko. And there was a first song by Corita during the National Unification Conference of Composition of March 1985. This was also sung during the presidential campaign opened by Cory Aquino to inspire the movement against the Marcos in February 1986. Freddie Aguilar revived the song Bayan Ko, which was written by C. Corazon de Jesus and C. de Guzman during the American period. Next is the Philippines film during this period. The yearly festival of Filipino film continued to be held during this period. The Filipino love for six film also was unabated. Many producers took advantage of this experience of public morality. Next is poetry and English during the Third Republic, most especially during the week of tragic Benigno Aquino Jr. Incidentally, people reacted with shock, applied by suddenness and unexpectedness of event. Alfredo Navarro Salanga, consistent a writer of Filipino Panorama magazine, in his column, Post-Pradal Reflection, said it a darkness of mind, an consoled it how some a forgotten poet put it, sadness for profound force could not react to it meaning the other way. Elemental to us poet and writer was how to grab to some meaning and symbol, a process of word in the language of heart tongue for poet only called candless. So we tried to reach out and next, perhaps only we to hold by poeting, pen to paper speaking out. Participant in human drama, poets suppressed by common consensus found themselves writer on the common subject reproduction, some of them reprinted here we apply called them protest poet in 1980 in 80s. The themes most during this time dealt with courage, shock, and grief over the tragedy reflected upon Aquino. Next is the media of 1983. Sheila is Coronel, a panorama staff someone reporting a state of media during this time said it was a year of ferment, absence of old problem, and more oppressive by new throbbing beat and time. For journalists, it was a year loaded and labeled translucent and seditious trial which gallantly bore us harassment suit. Judge justice for Aquino for all. Movement called a boycott for government-controlled newspaper and protest media suppression. People picked newspaper office for often by symbolize the death of press freedom. In the campus newspaper were a seat of fire or protest lack of free expression. Journalists suffered by physically and otherwise. Journalists at three major dialects demanded dialogue with their publisher to restore credibility and respectability to newspaper. Opposition's tabloid force flourishing the sold for paper with read news started public and smooth magazine like Tik-Tik, Pribuisens Asakdal, also claimed by Sidwo. Radio by Lloyd Radio Veritas started reposting coverage, demonstration, information. The Mr. Gregorio Sinidia called the tabloid the Mosquito Press and called their news political pornography. However, there was perceptible liberation editorial policies in the major newspaper. Next one is a children's books. Among the well-loved form, a writer which abandoned during the period were these children's stories. A children's communication center (CCC) directed by poet and writer Virgilio Almario already has built up impressive collection of this kind of books. This one is an example of books. Next is the prose published. The People Cry protest found out that not only poetry but also a valid prose published which transparently satirized a compound ang Malacanang Amoundus that so print were the crown jewel of her sin heart by Shivia Mendes Ventura, an old published king differently referred to us. Next is the state of the Philippine literature, English, and this time. Asagani Cruz, writer about the Philippine literature in age Abninoy, make the following observation. The Philippines literature definitely changed, and he summarized this follows. Number 1. Change in direction, greater consciousness and content the form. Number 2. Change in a number, reader, and a number of writer, and the kind of class of writer. Writers who join the rank come not only to form establish the professional groups, but form a rank. Clerk, secretaries, driver, housewife, student, and short the masses. Third, resurgence of Balagtissimo and the continuous dominance of Modernismo, while Balagtissimo turned in the back of American challenge. The Philippines literature, its conservative convention, Modismo adopted the Americanization for its own end. Fourth, the birth of new poetic movement is still dim in outline. Fifth, the apparent merging the erstwhile separate esteem oral writer literature. This is the sum of writer during this period in 1981-1985, and that's all. Thank you.